Hey guys, I am back and today I'm going to be doing my makeup while I have some things to say about books. So I just finished Verity last night and I wanted to come on here and talk a little bit about the Colleen Hoover novels that I've read and my thoughts on them and my warnings about how you will feel after reading them, because although this is not necessarily a theme amongst her books in general, Verity was super suspenseful and I read 2/3 of it last night, and I was not emotionally prepared for that. Nope, my heart has not stopped pounding. So I'm gonna get into the makeup and start talking about her books. I'm gonna do them in order that I read them because I don't know the order that they came out. I know she got a lot of attention for Verity and It Ends With Us. Those are kind of the two really popular ones, and it'll, like, in all of her blurbs about herself, it says, like, from the New York Times bestselling author of Verity and It Ends With Us. She also wrote a series, I think it was like her first series to do really well, called like Maybe Someday, Maybe Now, Maybe Sometimes. It's something like that. It's like maybe this, maybe that, maybe that. Hi, Nikki. We have a very cute but very needy beagle. What you doing? So anyways, getting back into the book rant. I first read It Ends With Us because it was a gift from a friend for Christmas this past Christmas, so like holiday 2021, and it took me a while to read it. My friend spoke really highly of it. My friend's a huge reader. She's really cute. She's like always got a book rented on her Kindle from the library, so she's constantly reading, and she spoke really highly of it, so I did want to give it a try. I read like the first chapter the day she gave it to me, set it on my nightstand, did not pick it up again. And then over the summer, I wanted to read a couple of books and then like start working through some of the hard copies that I have in my collection, because I tend to, when I go on like vacations and things, I tend to just rent books from the library or just like buy online versions of them because it's easier to read it off of my phone or another device than it is to carry like 6 hard copies with me when I have been known to read like 3 or 4 or 5 books in a vacation, especially like a 2 or 3 week vacation. So where there's lots of like train trips and stuff, getting from place to place. So that was my plan. I'm like, this summer, Minnesota, I have the space in my boxes to bring a couple of books. So I'll bring 2 that I got for Christmas and 1 that I got for Christmas the previous year, so like 2020. And over the summer, just decide to start with All Your Perfects. That's the first book I read of those. Or not All Your Perfects, I'm sorry. It Starts With Us. It Ends With Us. I can't get any of her book titles correct today for some reason. Picked up It Ends With Us. Now, if you don't know, Colleen Hoover tends to write fluffy romance novels with kind of a, I don't want to say dark twist, but there's usually like a tragic backstory. If you're someone who cries easily at novels or you don't like sad things, I don't know if these are for you. They generally have very happy endings, but they do get very sad at times and sometimes suspenseful and scary. My friend claims she gave me a content warning about It Ends With Us. And if you want a content warning, I will list it below with the links to Colleen Hoover and how to access her books. But in case you don't like spoilers or anything like that, I'm not gonna really talk too much about what the book is about. But I read like 2/3 of it in one day. Like, I was on a quick, like, hour-long plane flight, read a bunch of it, finish it that night, because I, like, got home and just had to read. I could not put it down, had to read it, had to finish it that night, which was really too bad because I didn't bring another book to read on the plane, on the plane flight back in a couple of days, or, like, the next day or whatever. So, because of that, that book makes you feel very strongly. There are times where you feel very intense anger and very intense sadness and very intense, like, lovey, happy feelings. And I have always said I love books that make me feel, that make me experience an emotion. And so that was part of what drew me into It Ends With Us. And then as soon as, oh my goodness, I'm just a patchy mess. What am I doing? And then as soon as I finished that book, I finally got a hold of my friend who gave it to me, screamed into the phone about the book, not like at her. And she was like, okay, they're coming out with a sequel to the book. Doesn't come out till October, but I've read her other books and I really like them, and I think you'll like them too. So the next book that I was able to get on renting it through the library was All Your Perfects. Now this book is one of those where, like, she has a specific sub-genre of books that I like to say, or really all of her books, where there's points where you're kind of screaming at the main character, what are you doing? And you really wish that she had, like, the sassy best friend in the book to tell her, like, stop, get some help. So All Your Perfects essentially is about a couple who, it flashes back between when they first met and where they are kind of present day, quote unquote. And so it talks about kind of like how their love story evolves. You get to see all of those, like, cute, lovely, dopamine-filled, I love you so much, I'm falling for this person feelings, mixed with kind of their current predicament, which is essentially a lack of communication. The characters individually are kind of struggling with some things. And so from the main character's, the protagonist's point of view, she is struggling with things so much so that she is having a hard time seeing the forest through the trees a little bit. She seems, in my opinion, to want what's best for her loved one, for her partner. And she really does, like, believe that, like, she does love him. I don't want to say she believes she loves him, but he does not. Oh my god, I forgot mascara. Oh my goodness. She believes that he would be happier without her, and she's kind of driving him away because she's letting the intrusive thoughts win, which we don't do. So yeah, she's really just, like, not thriving, going through some stuff, driving away her partner who really loves her. So you see this juxtaposition of, like, the happy start to the kind of miserable present. It's really interesting. And for me, like, the lesson of this book was, don't shut people out. Don't not tell people what's going on inside your head, because they can't help you if they don't know what you're thinking, if they don't know what's going on. So that was a really interestingly timed book for me. And I think just because of the timing of it and how I think I kind of needed to hear that message or see the character go through that, like not wanting to clue in her partner on what was going on inside her head and pushing him away instead of being vulnerable. A part of me was like, oh my God, what are you doing? And then I was like, okay, is there a omnipresent being or a 20-year-old girl reading a book about my life going, oh my God, what are you doing? Like, am I making any of these mistakes? Whew, this eyebrow color is a little bit red for me. Oopsies. Just a wee bit too warm. This is not my best makeup day, y'all. Oopsies. And so I really loved and resonated with that book for a couple of reasons, but the primary reason was that I just felt very strongly drawn towards the protagonist character. I didn't agree with everything she was doing, but I think it helped me definitely get some perspective on my life of like, am I doing any of these things? Am I pushing people away? Am I communicating my thoughts and feelings clearly to my loved ones? And so that, I think it was kind of a frustrating book to read at times, but I thought it was a very beautiful message. Then I read Ugly Love. That book, similar issue with the protagonist, where if there was a like sassy best friend character, she would be like, can you please just not? And I don't want to say that in like a mean way, but she definitely, the main character, pursues an emotionally unavailable person. And they do explain through the book why he is emotionally unavailable. But as if it was a friend of mine, even if I knew his whole backstory, I would have said, like, look, he's telling you he's emotionally unavailable and you are signing up for it. And this is not what you want. You're clearly hurting by this and you just need to let it go. And no one in her life was really willing to do that, which was too bad. She did have some friends, but like none of them, I think, were close enough to know what was going on with the boy situation and to offer such candid advice to her through that situation. And then we have, that book was a good book. It was a very quick read. Again, another book where there is kind of a sad component to it. And so you don't want, if you're very sensitive or you don't like sad books, not the book for you. Then flash forward to October, and I have been reading a little less because of school and everything. And so we go to a bookstore. My roommate and I, who I have gotten to read It Ends With Us, are looking around. We find a book that we like, and we get It Starts With Us and Verity, and we're going to read and then switch. So I read It Starts With Us. I think it's kind of clear that she didn't intend originally when she wrote It Ends With Us to have a sequel. That being said, I think that it is a beautiful story to show that main character Lily, there was a happiness after the sadness, if that makes sense. I think if you're someone who likes happy endings, you'll probably like this book because, frankly, Lily went through a lot of crap in It Ends With Us. And as a person who likes happy endings, it did have a happy ending, but It Starts With Us definitely filled that desire I had to see Lily really be happy. And then we have this. If you like fluffy romances and that's why you like Colleen Hoover books, this book is not for you. This is not fluffy. This is not a romance. Well, it has a romance aspect to it, but it is suspenseful. My heart has been pounding since I started reading it at like 9 p.m. last night. Finished it at like 11:30. I didn't start it, but like I was reading it. And then heart has been pounding. I finished it. It's much darker than her other novels. If you want easy read, this is not an easy read, but if you like suspense and thriller and you're like, Jasmine, why do you read so many fluffy novels, like fluffy romance novels, then you'll like this. It's not the most suspenseful or the biggest thriller, but I do think that it is very good, and it is definitely just a wee bit suspenseful in a really fun way. But yes, definitely don't read it right before bed. Be better than me is really the moral of this whole story. I've been really loving this NARS Velvet Lip Glide in the shade Staying Alive. It's kind of almost like a lip stain. Go. So yeah, Verity is very different from her other books. I've heard that she does have another like thriller-esque book like this or in a similar style to this. So I don't know if I'm gonna read that one, to be completely honest. I don't think I'll read it next. I do want to read a couple of books that I have sitting in hard copies on my nightstand right now next. And then over winter break, when I have more free time, I think I'm going to delve into a couple new Colleen Hoover novels. So if you have recommendations for the next one I read, please let me know. I am very excited about finishing hers up. I do think that they're good books. They're quick reads. They're very entertaining. She has a couple key themes. Her characters never sleep together on the first night. Like, they always like sleep next to each other, but it's very respectful. She likes to switch between point of view, time period, or both. So she'll switch between the male and female, or like the female protagonist and the love interest, or the female protagonist back then and then now, or both. It'll change time period and perspective. So because of that, I think that it makes her books definitely go very quick, because you end a chapter and you know that the next chapter is containing something juicy from a different perspective and you want to know what happens. So it definitely makes them quick reads. She also, again, tends to incorporate some heavier themes in her books. If that's not for you, I totally get it. My stepmom is like that. She does not want to read something heavy. She wants to read something fun and light and interesting. And so she would not be a fan of these books. But me and my roommate and two of our other friends who we have gotten to read these books have gotten sucked in. They definitely pull at your heart in a very unique way, and I've really liked them a lot. If you're interested in any of the books that I mentioned, I will link them all down below with content warnings as appropriate. And if you like me ranting about books in kind of a all over the place way, just because I have a lot of feelings about them, then please stick around. I'm hoping to talk a little bit more about things that I have going on in my life outside of makeup, like books, movies, TV shows, things like that. And other than that, I hope you are having an incredible day wherever you are, and that I get to see you in a future video. Thanks, guys.